The requirement for a permit to install electrical receptacles in the garage varies significantly based on local building codes and regulations. These regulations are not uniform across different municipalities, counties, or even within the same state. Therefore, it's crucial to understand the specific rules applicable to the location. In many jurisdictions, a general rule exists that exempts homeowners from needing permits for minor electrical work performed within their own primary residence. This exemption often covers tasks like adding electrical outlets or receptacles, especially in unfinished areas like a garage, provided that the work adheres to the established electrical codes and safety standards. However, there are several exceptions to this general rule that could trigger the need for an electrical permit. Firstly, if the garage is detached from the main house or if it has its own separate electrical service panel, the electrical work might be subject to stricter regulations. Detached structures and separate electrical services often fall under different permitting requirements than work done within the main dwelling. Secondly, if the electrical work involves substantial modifications or additions to the existing electrical system, a permit may be necessary. This could include increasing the amperage of a circuit, adding a new circuit breaker to the electrical panel, or running new wiring from the main panel to the garage. These types of projects are viewed as more complex and potentially hazardous, necessitating inspection and approval by local authorities. Thirdly, some municipalities have specific regulations pertaining to electrical work in garages. These regulations could be in place due to the potential for moisture, flammable materials, or other hazards that are commonly found in garages. These specific regulations might mandate permits for any electrical work in a garage, regardless of how minor it seems. To determine whether a permit is required, it is highly recommended to contact the local building department or electrical inspector. These local authorities are the definitive source for information on building codes and permit requirements in your specific area. They can clarify whether the planned electrical work necessitates a permit, outline the steps involved in obtaining a permit, and provide guidance on ensuring that the work complies with all applicable codes. Failing to obtain a required permit can have several negative consequences. Firstly, if the electrical work is not performed according to the electrical code, it can create safety hazards such as electrical shocks, fires, or equipment damage. Secondly, insurance companies may deny coverage for damages resulting from unpermitted or non-compliant electrical work. Thirdly, local authorities may impose fines or penalties for performing electrical work without a permit. In some cases, they may even require the homeowner to remove the unpermitted work or bring it into compliance with the electrical code, which can be costly and time-consuming. The NEC, or National Electrical Code, serves as a foundational standard for electrical installations in the United States. However, local jurisdictions often amend or adopt the NEC with their own specific requirements. Therefore, even if the electrical work appears to comply with the NEC, it is still essential to check local codes to ensure compliance. Consider a few specific examples to illustrate how these principles apply in practice. If a homeowner intends to add a single 120 volts receptacle to an existing circuit in an attached garage and the local jurisdiction follows the general rule, a permit may not be required. However, if the same homeowner plans to install a 240 volts outlet for a welder or other high power equipment, a permit is almost certainly necessary. Similarly, if the garage is detached and has a subpole fed from the main house, the municipality might require a permit for any electrical work in the garage, regardless of its scope. When contacting the local building department, it is helpful to provide them with as much detail as possible about the planned electrical work. This includes the number and type of receptacles being installed, the wiring methods being used, and any modifications to the existing electrical system. The more information you provide, the more accurate and helpful the guidance you will receive. It's also wise to document all electrical work with photographs and notes. This documentation can be valuable in case of future inspections or when selling the property. If a permit is required, the process typically involves submitting an application, paying a fee, and scheduling an inspection. The electrical inspector will review the work to ensure that it complies with the applicable codes and safety standards. They may also provide guidance on correcting any deficiencies or making improvements to the installation. Even if a permit is not required, it is still important to follow safe electrical practices. This includes turning off the power to the circuit before beginning any work, using appropriate wiring and connectors, and ensuring that all connections are secure and properly insulated. If you are not comfortable performing electrical work yourself, it is best to hire a licensed electrician. A qualified electrician has the knowledge, skills, and experience to perform electrical work safely and in compliance with the electrical code. Hiring an electrician can provide peace of mind and help avoid potential safety hazards or code violations. In addition to contacting the local building department, it can also be helpful to consult with a licensed electrician or an electrical inspector for guidance on electrical work in a garage. These professionals can offer expert advice and ensure that the work is performed safely and in compliance with the electrical code. Remember that electrical codes are in place to protect people and property from electrical hazards. By following these codes and obtaining the necessary permits, you can ensure that electrical work in your garage is safe and compliant. Regarding specific code requirements, the NEC provides detailed guidance on the installation of receptacles in garages. For example, Section 210.8 A2 typically requires ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, protection for all 125 volts, 15 amps and 20 amps receptacles installed in garages. GFCI protection helps prevent electrical shocks by detecting ground faults and interrupting the circuit. Another important consideration is the proper wiring method for receptacles in garages. The NEC typically requires the use of conduit or cable with a grounding conductor for wiring receptacles in garages. Conduit provides physical protection for the wiring, while a grounding conductor helps to ensure that the receptacle is properly grounded. The NEC also specifies the minimum height for receptacles installed in garages. Typically, receptacles must be installed at least 12 inches above the floor to prevent them from being damaged by water or other liquids. When installing receptacles in a garage, it is important to consider the specific needs of the garage. For example, if the garage is used for woodworking or other activities that generate dust, it may be necessary to install dust-tight receptacles. Similarly, if the garage is exposed to moisture, it may be necessary to install weatherproof receptacles. Regarding the placement of receptacles, the NEC generally requires that receptacles be installed within 6 feet of any point along a wall. This requirement helps to ensure that receptacles are readily accessible for plugging in electrical devices. It is also important to consider the load in the circuit when installing receptacles in the garage. The NEC specifies the maximum number of receptacles that can be connected to a single circuit. Exceeding this limit can overload the circuit and create a fire hazard. When planning electrical work in a garage, it is also important to consider the location of other electrical equipment, such as lighting fixtures, switches, and electrical panels. The NEC specifies minimum clearances between electrical equipment and other objects. These clearances help to ensure that electrical equipment is accessible for maintenance and repair. In addition to the NEC, there may be other applicable codes and standards that apply to electrical work in garages. For example, local building codes may require the use of specific types of wiring or electrical equipment. It is important to consult with the local building department to determine which codes and standards apply to the specific project. When performing electrical work in a garage, it is essential to follow all applicable safety precautions. This includes wearing appropriate personal protective equipment such as safety glasses and gloves, and turning off the power to the circuit before beginning any work. It is also important to use insulated tools and to avoid working in wet or damp conditions. If you are not comfortable performing electrical work yourself, it is best to hire a licensed electrician. A qualified electrician has the knowledge, skills, and experience to perform electrical work safely and in compliance with the electrical code. Remember, safety should always be the top priority when performing electrical work. Following safe electrical practices can help to prevent electrical shocks, fires, and other hazards. Consider the specific requirements for GFCI protection in garages. The NEC Section 210.8 A2 mandates GFCI protection for all 125 volts, 15 amps and 20 amps for receptacles installed in garages, which extends to both attached and detached garages. The purpose is to minimize the risk of electric shock in an environment where moisture and grounded surfaces are often present. It is crucial to ensure that all such receptacles are indeed GFCI protected. This can be achieved by installing GFCI receptacles directly or by protecting the circuit with the GFCI circuit breaker in the electrical panel. When using GFCI receptacles, it is important to test them regularly to confirm they are functioning properly. This test involves pressing the test button on the receptacle and ensuring that the receptacle trips, cutting off power. If the receptacle does not trip, it should be replaced immediately. With GFCI circuit breakers, testing is conducted similarly via a test button on the breaker itself. Also be aware of the potential need for arc fault circuit interrupter, or PSI, protection. While GFCI protection is primarily aimed at preventing electric shock, PSI protection is designed to prevent electrical fires caused by arc faults. Arc faults are dangerous electrical discharges that could occur due to damaged wiring or loose connections. While PSI protection is not always required for garage receptacles, it may be mandated by local codes or for specific circuits. Check local amendments to the NEC for specific PSI requirements in your area. Be mindful of proper wiring methods for garage receptacles. The NEC outlines acceptable wiring methods for electrical installations, including those in garages. Common wiring methods include using non-metallic sheath cable, often referred to as NMB cable, or running individual conductors inside conduit. If using NMB cable, it must be properly supported and protected from physical damage. In some cases, conduit may be required for added protection, especially in areas where the wiring is exposed or subject to impact. When running wiring through walls or ceilings, it must be installed in accordance with the NEC requirements for drilling and notching studs and joists. It is important to avoid damaging the structural integrity of the building when running wiring. Another vital aspect is grounding and bonding. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, allowing the circuit breaker or fuse to trip and de-energize the circuit. Bonding ensures that all metal parts of the electrical system are connected together, creating a low impedance path for fault current. In a garage, all metal enclosures, such as electrical panels, junction boxes, and lighting fixtures, must be properly grounded and bonded. The grounding conductor must be connected to the grounding electrode system for the building, which typically consists of a ground rod or a connection to the metal water pipe. The sizing of conductors for garage receptacles must adhere to the NEC guidelines. The size of the conductors used to wire garage receptacles must be sufficient to carry the anticipated load. The NEC provides tables that specify the allowable opacity of different conductor sizes based on the type of insulation and the ambient temperature. It is important to select conductors that are adequately sized to prevent overheating and voltage drop. Also, consider the use of weatherproof or weather-resistant receptacles if the garage is exposed to moisture or the element. Garages can be damp environments, especially those that are not well insulated or ventilated. In such cases, it is important to use receptacles that are designed to withstand moisture and corrosion. Weatherproof receptacles have a gasketed cover that protects the receptacle from water and dust. Weather-resistant receptacles are made from materials that are less susceptible to corrosion. Ensure proper installation height for receptacles. The NEC does not specify a minimum height for receptacles in garages, but local codes may have requirements. A common practice is to install receptacles at least 12 inches above the floor to protect them from water and debris. However, in some cases, it may be necessary to install receptacles higher to comply with accessibility requirements or to prevent them from being blocked by equipment or storage. The location of receptacles in relation to garage doors should be planned carefully. Receptacles should not be installed in locations where they could be damaged by the operation of the garage door. It is also important to avoid installing receptacles too close to the garage door opener, as this could create a tripping hazard. Consider the use of dedicated circuits for high-power equipment. If the garage will be used to power high-power equipment such as welders, air compressors, or electric vehicle chargers, it may be necessary to install dedicated circuits. Dedicated circuits provide a separate source of power for these devices, preventing them from overloading the existing circuits. The NEC provides guidelines for sizing dedicated circuits based on the anticipated load. It's important to ensure that the electrical panel has sufficient capacity to accommodate the additional circuits. This is usually determined by a load calculation according to NEC Article 220. When adding circuits, the main service entrance must have enough capacity to supply it. Also ensure proper labeling of circuits in the electrical panel. All circuits in the electrical panel must be properly labeled to identify the areas they serve. This is important for troubleshooting and for preventing accidental disconnections. The label should be clear and legible and should accurately describe the areas served by each circuit. Remember to consult the authority having jurisdiction. Electrical codes and regulations are subject to change, so it is important to consult with the local building department or electrical inspector to ensure that the planned electrical work complies with the latest requirements. They can provide guidance on specific code requirements and can help to avoid potential violations. Always prioritize safety when working with electricity. Electrical work can be dangerous, so it is important to take all necessary safety precautions. This includes turning off the power to the circuit before beginning any work, using insulated tools, and wearing appropriate personal protective equipment. If you are not comfortable performing electrical work yourself, it is best to hire a licensed electrician.